Hi everyone, welcome to White Glove Trucking, the channel I've dedicated to helping you use trucking as a vehicle to live your best life. My name is EJ Anderson, the congressional auditor turned long haul truck blogger, and also known as the happiest, kindest trucker on the road. Today's video is all about how you can boost your odds of success when you go from being a company driver to a carrier, or a company driver to an owner operator. In my last video, I discussed the risk of buying a used truck. So in this video, I will give you guys the strategy for saving up for a new truck by using your time as a company driver wisely so that it can be a launching pad to you becoming an independent owner operator or a carrier with a small fleet. Okay, so as you learned from my earlier videos, buying used trucks have low profitability. Buying new trucks have too much interest. And a lease purchase plan is just a no-go. So, what is an ambitious trucker to do when you're starting from zero? Given all those obstacles, my advice would be to work as a company driver, saving aggressively for a new truck and a trailer. I started off as a company driver, so I know this plan can work. In my first year at Knight Transportation, making just 42 to 46 cents a mile, I was able to save $25,000 in that first year. Now, starting from zero, I would have had to work 7 to 8 years in order to save up enough to buy that new truck and trailer and then venture out on my own. Now, starting pay for new truck drivers has dramatically increased since 2018, so you might be able to do this sooner. But I will use my experience and my numbers so we can get a conservative estimate. Now, I know what you're thinking. 7 to 8 years sounds like a really long time, and it is, but working 7 to 8 years as an on-ramp to a high likelihood of success when you start your independent trucking endeavor, it's much better than jumping into it too soon and getting the typical 8 out of 10 trucking companies fail within their first 3 years success rate. Imagine the alternative: treading water in a used truck or in a lease purchase program, struggling for a few years to make anything, and then the truck finally dies. In that scenario, you've wasted 3 to 4 years with nothing to show for it, or worse yet, with debt to show for it. Here's a better plan. Now, the absolute key thing for this plan is knowing from day one that the ultimate goal is to become an independent owner operator or a carrier owning your own trucking company. When I started, I had no clue I would end up starting a trucking company. So I didn't do the things that would have made venturing out on my own easier, smoother, and more profitable. If I could do it all over again, knowing what I know now, this is how I would do it, and these are the steps I would have taken throughout those 7 to 8 years that I needed to work for the company while I saved up. Okay, step 1, saving the money. So you work for 7 to 8 years, saving roughly $25,000 a year. That's what I was able to do. So that's going to be about $175,000 to $200,000, and that will give you enough money to either buy a new truck and a new trailer, or enough to put down a down payment on a small fleet of like 3 trucks. Now, the only thing that you could modify this a little bit is if you just wanted to buy the truck and you could rent the trailer if you just wanted to get started and you just absolutely couldn't wait until you had all the money. Step 2, learn maintenance. Every time I had an A or B service, instead of just going into the terminal to chill out, I would have gone into the maintenance shop and helped the mechanic work on my truck. That way, I could have learned some basic maintenance skills that those little skills, when you have your own trucking company or your own truck and trailer, can mean big bucks. Step 3, network at the shipper and receiver. So I would have talked to all of the personnel at the places I picked up or delivered to in order to try to nail down some future contracts. Just build those relationships, and you never know. If you got those contracts nailed down, then you can go the fleet route. Step 4, network with drivers. Same thing. I would have networked and collected the names of all the drivers that I met that I thought would make good drivers in the future. Then, once I had the money, if I had the drivers and the contract set up, then I would use that as a down payment on a small fleet of about 3 trucks. If I didn't have the drivers and the contract set up, then I would just, or if I didn't even want to go that route, if I just wanted to, keep it simple and small, I would just buy my truck, my trailer, and just run for myself. A 7 to 8 year plan is not that unreasonable to go from having zero to being the owner of a small trucking fleet. It's better to be a spoke in the wheel as a company driver for a predetermined amount of time while orchestrating the plan and saving to buy a new truck rather than perpetually cycling through used truck after used truck with limited profitability levels. Hey, If it turns out you love truck driving, then 7 to 8 years is virtually no risk because you'll enjoy your time while you're saving, just driving around, seeing the country, saving the money. If it turns out you don't really like truck driving, then you'll have a decision to make. You have to decide whether or not it's worth it to suck it up for those 7, 8 years, if that means you can be a trucking company owner with a little fleet at the end of it. Now, I can think of 2 exceptions to this plan. Now, the first one is if you already have truck maintenance skills, you know how to work on your truck, or you have a hookup when it comes to maintenance so you're not paying as much, then you could consider just getting a used truck and hitting the road. In this case, the fatal flaw of high maintenance costs with a used truck, you can avoid it. The other exception would be if we hit another hot historic market like we did after the pandemic. If that ever happens again, I would at least consider the risk reward of jumping in under less than ideal conditions, in other words, with a used truck. If you decide to jump in, just drive hard and save as much as you can. All right, guys, that's it for this video. There's your strategy for going from a company driver to a carrier, or a company driver to an owner operator with the highest chance of success. That's the key. Good luck, and thanks for watching.